Welcome in to another edition of the Monday Mailbag. Excuse me, Nick Patrick's Mailbag. I got to get used to that, Nick.
Yeah, we got to change on that here. That's
I'm
cool.
used to the Monday Mailbag.
Yeah.
You are here on the Nick Patrick Mailbag. That is the man, the myth, the legend, the world's most hated referee, Nick Patrick. How are you, buddy?
Man, I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. We are going to have a fun show today. We interact with y'all. We encourage you to interact with us. Y'all steer the ship, whatever you want to talk about, wrestling, food, sports, music, whatever it is. You can interact and ask Nick, and we will answer it. Also, we'll get to as many of those questions as we can. If you want to make sure yours goes to the top and support the show in the meantime, you can hit us up in those super chats, and we will make sure we get to yours before we get out of here today. We do have a special one, Nick. We've got a special guest going to be joining us in just a couple minutes.
Yes.
But first, this is a good question to start us off on.
Okay.
Over in the chat, Coach Rosie said, it's good to see the most hated referee. How are you, Nick?
I'm doing great, man. Deep South is thumping. The family's doing well, taking care of business, and good things are happening. We mapped out a game plan, and it's good to see when a game plan that you mapped out starts coming to life. And everything's going really well right now. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, come on in and ask us a question. We'll get to as many as we can. And now we got to bring on our special guest, Nick.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready for this?
Yeah,
are you excited,
yes,
man?
I am very excited. I think people are going to enjoy this one.
Well, we've talked about it before, and if you're new to the show, you should know that Nick Patrick runs Deep South Wrestling. Your dad, of course, starting and cultivating and growing and everything, put his heart and soul into Deep South Wrestling. You continuing that legacy. And you have shows in Atlanta all the time and South Carolina and beyond, but in that area. And we've always talked about your shows and what's coming up and who you got on the roster. Well, it's time to bring on one of your Deep South buddies, Nick.
Yeah, this young man, you're going to enjoy meeting this young man. He is a two-time Deep South champion and is our current Deep South champion. And his name is Nausicism. And people asked me when I first talked about this young man and he come on the scene, and I described him because he's one of the guys that I had a deal with Booker T where we sent some Deep South kids to go out there and work out within his system, and I get a chance to be on reality of wrestling as well. And Nausicism was one of the guys that went from our very, very first group that went, and our guys went out there and they impressed. And he is a young man. I'll tell you later when he comes out here, man. But this is a young guy that you're going to want to look up on social media and check him out and follow him, because he's going and you'll want to talk to him, because then you'll be able to say, hey, I remember when I talked to him on Nick Patrick Mailbag. Now look at him. Now he's a world champion on TV.
It's time for the Hoochie Daddy himself. Look at him. Nausicism is in the house.
Yes. Daddy is here. I'm excited. I gotta get my fandom out first, because Nick is my favorite referee of all time, and then I'm an avid listener to the Ad Free Network, Comrade, all the podcasts. So it's an honor to be here today.
Hey, thanks for being with us, man.
Brother.
Yeah, we said earlier that you're a two-time Deep South champion and current reigning champion. And I just wanted to start off by saying this. When I started running Deep, you've been with me, it's been about 2 years now, right?
Since like 2000.
Since we started, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been a couple of years. And this is a young man that is one of the people that has helped us to start. When you're building an empire, you have to have strong building blocks. You have to have a strong frame. And this is one of our strong building blocks right here. I can honestly say that there's never been a time that I have ever booked this young man, ever, that he didn't show up and give 110% and absolutely go out. And sometimes we used to put him on first so he could start the show. I mean, I'm not, a lot of people book differently. A lot of times you'll see a first match when you go to different shows, and sometimes it's kids that are training and they're throwing. Man, if I'm going to throw a first match out there, I want somebody that's going to go out there and electrify their ass, and it's going to set a standard that everybody else in the locker room is going to go, holy shit, I got to go out there and dig to follow that. And he's done that I can never say there's ever been a time that I booked this young man, even if he was tired, sick, hurt, whatever, that he didn't show up and absolutely steal the show.
Wow.
Much appreciated.
That's an intro right there.
Hey, and that's going out to all you promoters out there, all around the world. If you want somebody that's going to go out and deliver in any spot that you need him in, check this young man out on social media and get in touch with him, because this kid's next level talent.
If anybody knows anything about me, I'm my worst critic. I'm not doing this for anyone else. I constantly say I'm competing against myself because I'm always trying to outdo myself and what I did the last time. I always have in my mindset that people are going to remember you for what you just did, not what you did a couple of weeks ago, last year, 2 years ago. I can hone in on what I did 2 or 3 years ago, best of sevens, the titles I won. But no, I'm always trying to improve. I still train weekly. I train a lot of different wrestlers. I have a lot of young guys up under me. So, it's all about the work ethic.
It is all about work ethic. It is a definite business. You get out what you put in. So Narcissism, let's start from the top though. Well, we've got 2 names here. We've got Narcissism, which is one of a kind, original, never heard it before. And now all of a sudden I'm looking at all the social medias and the shows, and the Hoochie Daddy has appeared. Tell us how we got from Narcissism and now lead us all the way up to Hoochie Daddy.
So everybody knows I'm a huge fan of Sting and guys with face paint, and I'm a fan of characters more than in-ring work. And I think, of course, that's what this generation and wrestling is moving towards, focusing on only that. But then when we look at SummerSlam, the 2 main events for both nights, it was very character, and it wasn't high spots. It was story based. So I've always been super baby face. That's how people book me, because of my size and the face paint and everything like that. So I just knew it was time for a change. If you've been one way for a long time and you're stuck in that position, although they're still booking me in the main events, or they're still giving me, what I need as a wrestler, but it wasn't satisfying me. And I felt like I needed a character. I needed something to show that I could do more than just fly and wrestle good matches. And I felt like as a babyface in the character that I was stuck. I couldn't really show my personality. And now that once I turned heel and got to show my personality, I figured out how to do that as a babyface also. So it just came from feeling like I was pigeonholed in one type of character, and that's how we got there.
Talk about the support though that Deep South lets you do that. You've got a responsibility when you've got that championship. They put it on Narcissism, and now the Hoochie Daddy reign has begun. But just talk about your experience personally with Deep South Wrestling. Not only that locker room, Eric, of course, Nick being involved, and everybody around you at Deep South.
I think from day one with Deep South, I have been a locker room leader, and I've helped behind the scenes and done other things besides just be a wrestler. And I've always done that. And I feel like no matter where you're at in your career, no matter if they ask you to do it, you should always show up ready to work, whether that's putting the ring up, helping with the entrance set, or, being backstage, giving advice, helping other people with their matches. That's the type of utility player I feel like any wrestling organization should want. So I try to be what I feel like any other wrestling organization would want. Deep South for me, at times when I had lost my confidence or felt like I was going in one direction, it's always been a consistency for me. Consistent good matches, uh, consistent crowds. Uh, it's just been the consistency for me. Good advice, good support, and a company that's constantly growing. Uh, you want to be a part of, in my eyes, if you're on the indies, you want to be a part of companies who have good camera work, good graphics, constantly growing as far as the audience. You just want to be a part of growth. You don't want to be a part of anything that's stagnant or just kind of you can't figure out what the direction is going to be with the company. So,
well, that's what the business is about, selling yourself and knowing how to present yourself, especially when you're at the next level. You can't just sit there and wait for the writing team to come up with shit for you and hope that, oh, gee, I hope they come up with something good for me. You got to be barraging their ass with all your ideas and know that they're going to steal some and give them to other people. Just know that right out of the chute, that's going to happen to you. But you don't quit, and when you've got the kind of ideas and the level and the talent that you have, you show that you've got it. That's next level. That shows passion. And you've heard me talk before about levels of work. And I say that working hungry. You've heard me use the term working hungry. That's when you're working and you're not resting on your laurels and just using your go-to spots that they want to see and your go-to catchphrases. Absolutely. You're going out there and you're digging and you're working and this young man brings that level, that working hungry. And I'm telling you guys, check him out on social media. I did my retirement match because of the work that he had put in. Him and another young kid, they busted their ass, and it was time for me to step out. And I wasn't going to step out. I did it of my choosing. I did it the way I wanted, where I wanted, and how I wanted, and who I wanted to do it with. And this young man was one of the two young men in that match, and that I chose to be my retirement match. And that's the level. That's how much I think of this kid, and that's how much that he has brought to our company. All you got to do is go back and look at every match that we've got out there on YouTube that he's involved in, and it will back up what I've just said.
One of the biggest honors of my career doing the retirement match, and I will say this, just to revert back to the Coochie Daddy thing, I practiced as a joke and training for like a year with that character.
Yeah.
And then finally we pulled the trigger, and then I kept pushing it to the booker at Deep South, and he's like, "We're not ready yet. We need you to stay as a face." But I feel like this year when we finally pulled that trigger, it was.
Yeah, I'm glad you you brought that up, because I was thinking that very same thing. He'd been wanting to do this for a while, but we've been let's do it. Let's do it right. If you're going to make a turn, you got to do it when you're hot, when you're at your peak. You can't do it just because you've run out of ideas and you're trying to freshen something up. That don't work. You got to be hot, and to get that shock factor, because that's the only way it's going to work is if you get that shock factor. And when this young man made his turn, you can watch it. You can feel it. You can feel it, man. Yeah.
People throwing stuff, cursing. It was just like bedlam. They went crazy because it was just so unexpected.
There's moments that you can feel, and while they're happening, you know that this is right. This is working, and I have to give credit to him and his work, but I also have to give credit to Eric, the guy that's doing my booking too. He was there and he felt, that the situation, sometimes you have to go by feel. You can't just map out every step, because you got to have a map that you're following, but sometimes you'll come across a little trail that's a little bit better than the one that you're on, so don't just always be locked into what you've talked about doing, so we knew what we wanted to do, but we wanted for it to be right. And I feel that we waited for the perfect time, and because when I watched it back, because I wasn't able to, I can't always go to all my shows because I take care of folks, and that was one of them that I couldn't make. But when I watched it back, when you can feel it, when you go, oh shit, when you can feel the crowd watching it back on film, and you're not actually sitting in the crowd, then you know it worked, man.
Mhm.
And I could feel that. And that was a very good turn.
If you've got questions, you can hit us up in the chat like the normal mailbag. We'll get to those at the end of the show. You can also drop a question right now for Naja System Hoochie Daddy, as he is here with us for a few more minutes. And we do have some questions.
Coach Rosie, yeah.
Thank you, Coach Rosie.
The new mouth of the South.
Stand up and clap for your Hoochie Daddy.
Yeah, they want to know. They want to see memories of that I Quit match. Man, that was an awesome match, man. You guys kicked it into a whole new level there, man.
The biggest memory for me with the I Quit match, number one, Nick. I don't joke and say Nick is my favorite referee, but just the stuff he did with Jericho, just he was always the referee with the crazy bumps and all of that. So that's a shoot. That's real. That's not me saying it because I know him now. But for the I Quit match, the biggest memory for me was it being the only time my parents have seen me wrestle live. They've never been to a live show. So I went and picked them up 4 hours away in Savannah, drove them back to Atlanta. And also us selling out the theater on 5 Point, being on the marquee. Those are some of the best memories. As far as in the match, we just went all in and we didn't hold back. We hit each other as hard as we could possibly hit each other. And our goal was to not just do a normal hardcore I Quit match. We wanted to make sure there were 2 parts of the match. The first match, the first part of the match, we tried to out wrestle each other. Then there was a moment in the match where it switched to us trying to I guess you say it went to more of an MMA style with the brutality and the submissions, and then we ended it with the weapons. So it had 3 stages, and it was a story versus just a normal match. When we coming out here hitting each other with weapons and choking each other, we wanted to do a story.
If you don't tell a story, you're just 2 guys out there doing spots, man. And the story was awesome, and it was 36 minutes of 2 kids going out there and kicking the shit out of each other, man. But telling a story, doing it, and it was fun to be a part of, man.
Just to give anybody my philosophy on wrestling, when I put together matches or call matches, I don't think of what cool spots I can do, what cool moves I can do. My philosophy and my mindset is, what can I do to make this overall match amazing? Yeah. How can I make me and my opponent, pull out the best in both of us? Mm-hmm. So it's about the overall product versus how good I can look, how many cool moves I can do. It's about that story, the ebb and flows, and building to the climax. Every match is like a movie. We got the plot twist, we got the climax, and that's what I've always been taught.
That's that's the difference between guys going out and just clowning around and guys that are scratching and working through it and breaking through to the next level, man. You're thinking business, you're thinking presentation, you're thinking storyline is everything. Without storyline, we like I said, we're just guys doing spots without storyline, and the storyline is not just the major story. It's the story within the story, the match itself, the natural story, the large versus small, whatever natural things you have, the evil good versus evil. One guy's bigger, one guy's smaller. There's just you have to use all those tools in your storytelling, and this young man is very good at doing that. That's why he's a Deep South champion 2 times.
You know, it's interesting. You guys both talked about that. One of my favorite moments between our old buddy Road Dogg there, Nick, is he was talking about, you know, being in the ring and wrestling, and X-Pac was one of the first people that when he started getting in the ring with, Road Dogg would say, "Hey, I'm going to hit you with this and then do this to you," and X-Pac was the first person to go, "Why? Why would you do that move? How does that help keep continuing the story? You're not just doing spots just to do spots and fill time.
Yes.
It is all part of the story, how you're going to present yourself." And so that is awesome to hear. Narcissism, you say, and then Nick, like you said, you said it as well. All this is building. We're not just going out there and filling time. This is, we have to continue our story the entire time. We have to keep you invested. One thing leads to another the entire time. So that was super cool to hear. Of course, your journey to get to Deep South Wrestling, you've had a bunch of matches all over the place with all kind of different people. Yeah. And some of the people want to know about some of those past matches. So let's see.
Best of 7 with Nick Halen.
Wow.
And one night.
Let's see. So should I answer that question now? I see. So if we, because I can't see or hear Cassidy right now, but Ash Perez.
Here he comes.
Yeah, which one is better for you? I was trying to dip out of the way, but which one's better for you?
So we can talk, since you asked about the past opponents and they brought up the best of 7, I will talk about both Nick Helen and I came back to wrestling in 2021. I took a little break and we both were kind of doubting ourselves. It was like, let's do this. A couple people wanted us to do it. Rick Michaels, a couple of people were like, you guys need to do a best of 7. And what we did it in 5 different companies. And the biggest memory for the first best of 7 with Nick Helen is it brought my confidence back. It showed me that not only I can do 7 different matches with the same person, but I still had it, I had taken a break, and that was my confidence builder. Immediately after that best of 7, that's when I started to travel and really started to get back out there. Then when the Owen Knight one in 2022 and 2023, started in 2022, ended in 2023, we again did it at 6 different promotions. And again, it's just another check reassuring me that I can do this. 7 different matches with the same person back-to-back years. And currently, I'm in the middle of the best of 7 with Chad Skywalker. We're trying to book out where that's going to finish up at. But, I've had the opportunity to wrestle former AEW talents, WWE talents, current NWA talents. And after wrestling former WWE talent, Patrick Clark, Velveteen Dream, the one note I've gotten out of wrestling, all these guys, all these former TV talents, was that never to discredit myself, never, how would I say it? Never doubt myself, because I always went into those matches a little nervous versus wrestling somebody else who I equate to being on my level. And then when I wrestled them, I realized, I'm just as good as them. I'm getting in the ring with them, and I'm calling the match the same way I'm calling it with somebody else that's not on TV. So I guess it's just been a confidence builder to never doubt myself, and I go into every match the same now. I think of some matches are more important than the other, but I put the same effort. I still call, I give my opinions. I come up with things, and usually by the end of calling something with a vet or somebody that's on TV, they're letting me take control because they realize, oh, he knows what he's talking about. And, so that's the experience I've come out of wrestling bigger names. Just never doubt yourself, stay confident, and be who you are.
All right. Matthew Rodriguez says, Najicism, you did a 35-minute time limit draw with Billy Buck. Will you do a 60-minute Iron Man match with him?
Look, I will wrestle. Pay me. And I will wrestle. I don't care if it's 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. I stay ready so I don't have to get ready. As you heard me earlier, I train weekly. I do multiple shows a week. Hell, let me go ahead and spit this out. From August 1st until September 13th, I think I have about 18 matches total, 5 different states. So as people can see, I'm not slowing down. So it doesn't matter the length of the match. And yeah, that was me and Billy had a series of 3 matches earlier this year. And that was awesome to be a part of. And that 35-minute draw was a part of that.
Having a series of matches isn't like it was back in the old days when we didn't have social media. You know, when we could go on a loop and pretty much do the same finish and 3 or 4 nights in a row until we got had it right for what they wanted for TV. That's what a lot of house shows was about back in the day, was getting, preparing for the match that he was going to have on TV.
Yeah.
But now with social media, they had to rethink every step of it. They couldn't even repeat a spot unless they, you could still do the same move, but you'd have to set it up differently.
It comes from
7 different times. That's just brain power, man.
And I'll say this: it comes from okay, we do match 1 and match 2, and we do things totally different. And then when we start getting to match 4, we be like, well, we did that in match 2. We might need to throw some counters in there. Well, in match 1, I was high flying. In match 4, I'm going to work the leg and work on submissions. Every match I have a different mindset. And the mindset is, okay, I did my normal thing in the first match and I lost and it didn't work. So in match 2, I got to do something different. Maybe in match 2, I need to keep him off his feet. Or in match 3, I need to be faster because in match 2, he was able to slow me down by doing this. So you just got to think story-wise from match to match to match to match.
Yeah, and know that their people are following it, even though it's not the same promotion, because of social media. So that's pretty good, pretty good feat to pull off, man. Seven match series isn't easy.
Yep, you're right.
We'll get one more chat. We'll get one more question from the chat for you, Najicism. Then we'll let you tell everybody where they can follow you and interact with the Hoochie Daddy before we let you go, and then get into our mailbag. Did you get a chance to see SummerSlam?
This may be controversial, but I'm going to say, from the way I felt watching it, top 3 SummerSlams of all time.
All right. Well, here's our question. That's big. We're gonna come back to that.
Yes.
Dave C said, "What did you think of the Cody and Cena match?" My opinion is it was way overworked and way too many finishers. I remember when the world meant exactly that, a finisher. So that's Dave's opinion. Najicism, what was your opinion of the Cody Cena match in particular?
I'm just going to talk about the whole situation. So number 1, like I talked about, my best of 7 from match to match to match, how things have to evolve and change. We saw what they did at WrestleMania. And at WrestleMania, I also feel like it didn't meet expectations. But here's what has happened in John Cena's last year. I feel like he has done everything that his fans have wanted him to do. This has been all about his fans. His fans wanted him to turn heel for years. He finally did it in his retirement year. The issue is today's fans, they want the heels to still be cool. They want the heels to still do all these cool and everything. And when he became heel, he wrestled like a heel. He didn't do cool shit. I was about to cuss. I don't know if you cuss like that.
You can say whatever you
That's
want.
all right.
But he didn't do cool shit. He just pretty much was an old school heel. He didn't pull out those moves and everything.
Yeah.
Then we fast forward to SmackDown and he does a babyface turn, and people are like, I don't know if he's gonna be full babyface. But at this point, he only got 4 months left, so he's not gonna play with us. He's gonna give us what he plans on to give us. And what they got Sunday night, they got full babyface Super Cena, the Cena that became the guy, the Cena that became the man. He gave them exactly what they said they wanted. He got 4 months left. In these 4 months, we're going to get bangers. We're going to get exactly what he showed us at SummerSlam. He's going to empty the bag because it's your last time seeing him. And what we saw at WrestleMania just wasn't enough. And I feel like they over-delivered at SummerSlam. And you got two of the biggest things in the company. Yes, I think it was one finish too much, but I think everything they did made sense. And again, I enjoyed it because it was 2 main events back-to-back nights where we saw storytelling, and it wasn't about the moves. It was more about the story and the drama, and that's what I loved about it. But see, I'm learning today in today's wrestling, everybody has an opinion, and people like what they like. I'm heavy on the story, and I'm heavy on the drama versus the moves.
Yep, you're never gonna please everybody. Some people want all the finishers and to kick out, and some want just one finisher. And Nick, did you ever have a philosophy on that yourself? Did you? I know you're old school, like he said. He went back in the world when a finisher was a finisher. But what do you think now? I mean, wrestling has evolved now.
It has evolved, but I think hitting your finisher 3 or 4 times is too much. Twice to me would be, if you told the story right and had to do it a second time, then that would, to me, I could go for that. But if you have to hit it 3 or 4 times, I mean, it gets a little bit ridiculous. I mean, you're to the point of, what are you going to do? You have to break out a gun? What the hell? It's changed. It started changing. I remember WrestleMania when I was there, and Vince blew a gasket too. They did. Austin worked, I think, with Rock, and Angle worked with Lesnar, and it was different moves, but it was the same basic setup. In both matches, guys were kicking out of each other's finishes, and it was like the same thing, only with 2 different guys doing it. You know what I mean? And that was the first time I saw that happen. And I didn't like it when I saw it then, but if it's presented right and the story's told right, because I've seen Undertaker do it with a couple like say when Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. I can't knock that because I think the story was the way they did it and the execution of it. It worked, but you can definitely overdo it, in my opinion. And I hate to see that. I think 2 is enough. It does, to me, in my opinion, take away from the finish. And I don't think that it adds that much more to the guy that you're trying to get over, because he's already over. How much more does he have to? How much more do you have to give? And that's just my opinion.
I will say one more little thing on that. I also think it depends on the show and the environment. Like,
your crowd.
WrestleMania, not on Raw, not on Main Event, not on SmackDown, not on the Collision. I don't need to see 50 finishers and all that. When it's just a show that's really supposed to be setting up to the big blow off and the big match of the show. Yeah. So, location, the show, and all that, where it is a big.
Yep. There's so many things that go into every match. That's why every match is different. Yeah. You can have some same moves or same spots or even some same storylines, but you never know what's going to happen when you get in there and what the crowd's going to react to. And you might do it once and it's great. You might do it the second time and they don't like it. You never know. And that's the beauty of wrestling. That's why it's an art form.
Yeah.
That's why everybody's different. Got to create their own space. Before we let you go, Narcissism, tell everybody about your personal space, your social medias. Tell them how they can find you. Tell them how they can support you.
All right. The NAJASISM, the greatest, the baddest, the best. Stand up and clap for your hoochie daddy. You can follow me on Instagram at the TAE Narcissism. That's NAJASISM. You can do that on Twitter also, TikTok, Facebook, Narcissism, and then on YouTube, that's the only one that's kind of different. It's Narcissism Wrestling. But that's pretty much it. Just Narcissism everywhere, or the Narcissism.
When is your next Deep South show?
We are coming up on Monday Night Garage this Sunday at 2 p.m. downtown in Atlanta. It's free for all, and I will be defending my Deep South Championship for the second time against Big Boy Mims, the NWA National Champion. And I'm a BTA that boy. Guess no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what BTA stands for?
Beat that ass.
I am gonna beat that ass and send him back to the NWA where he could be a champion, because the one place he will not be a champion is Deep South Wrestling, because Daddy owns Deep South.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
For the
you tell him, kid.
Man, yes, great stuff, man. I know you're busy. We appreciate you taking the time out and joining us and answering everybody's questions, man. Always have fun, and I'm sure this won't be the last time we have you on the show.
Won't be the last. I'm about to go jump in the ring and get some training in right now.
Get it in, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate y'all.
How about that, Nick?
Hey, good kid, man. Like I said, you want all you promoters out there. You want somebody that's going to light them up, light your fans up, and light up your locker room too, man. He's going to go out there and deliver. And I've been booking him for a couple years now, and there's never been not one time that he ever showed up that he didn't go out and deliver.
Yeah, he's great stuff. Great character, great personality, charisma. Like Coach Rosie said, the aura. Whatever you want to call it, man, my man's got it, and it's why he's carrying that strap for you, brother.
Yes, sir. He's toting the mail. He's doing a hell of a job, man.
Like we said, August 10th. That's going to be your next one. That's going to be Monday Night Garage, the Sunday afternoon knockout. That's Sunday, August 10th at 2 p.m. And you will see the champ defend his title against the NWA, one of the NWA champs, Mims.
That's right, and that's indoors as well, too. So,
AKA air conditioning.
Yes, sir. Yeah, not great food and great drink, man. It's a hell of a time, man.
So y'all can check that out. We are deepsouth.com. We'll make sure we get to some questions from the mailbag. Tony Flowers is back. Tony Flowers hit us up. He found us from our AFS home and, of course, now here at Podcast Heat Wrestling and says, "What's up, fellas? Nick, I asked Mike Chioda the same question and was curious to get your thoughts. Mm-hmm. If you were forced to pick just one most important quality that a wrestling referee needs, what would you say that is?"
Timing.
Okay.
Timing. Being in the right place at the right time, with your timing, with your positioning in ring, ring awareness. That's what I mean by timing. That's the one thing.
Just being aware of your surroundings and making sure you're in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah, ring presence. Especially house shows, you can be anywhere, but television, they've got 5 camera angles, and they don't want to see your ass. So you have to be knowing where the hard cameras are. But now there's going to be times that, especially those moving cameras, they're moving, and it's their job to capture the action, so be aware of them and try to work to them and play to them, but keep your ass out of them. That's and know that the front side of the ring, the hard side. If when you first start doing television, there's a hard camera. Work the ring like a horseshoe and stay away from that front open side. As much as possible. There's going to be times you have to step in there because the action goes there, but be careful. Get in there and get the hell out of there as quick as you can.
All right, Danny C in the chat said Mr. Patrick is my favorite ref of all time. Highly underrated. Well, thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Look, super chat will get you to the top of the list. Also, a compliment will get you top to the list pretty fast.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you. I don't get a whole lot of them. I was the heel rep, but usually, you suck. Why do you hold the damn ropes?
In the chat, Reverend Buddy Green hit us up. Said, kind regards from Colorado. Send my regards to Big Nick, Tony, and your mom. Braves are tough to watch this year, but we will be back.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's an old friend of mine from back in the day, man. He's moved out to Colorado, and I haven't seen him in a while. We used to hit the Braves games. We saw some really awesome Braves games. I took my son, and he had a line on awesome Braves tickets, and we got to see the playoff game. They had the no-fly rule where against the St. Louis Cardinals, where fans bombarded the freaking field with trash, man. That shit got so crazy, man. I just kind of got behind Nick and kind of hovered over him so shit wouldn't land on him, because at one point it was just like the fucking food fight in Animal House. It was flying from everywhere. Like, oh my God. I can't believe it. It was crazy.
Braves are pretty tough this year.
Yeah, it's hard to watch. A good food fight might help their.
I was about to say, I've been plenty of games where I wanted to throw stuff out of the field while I was watching them. Danny C said, "Does Deep South ever come to Nashville?"
We haven't yet, but it's always a possibility, man. Because we are venturing around, and most of the places we travel right now, so we have a good business deal with New Realm Brewery, and they are around different locations in the Southeast, and that's kind of how we're getting our traveling in there. When they get our shows, and that way we get a chance also to get a look at some of the different talent from different areas. We take a crew of like 5 or 6 of our guys, but then we try to fill the rest of the roster up with local guys. So so they bring in people that because they bring their own fan following too,
sure.
And then we can get a look at
build that following.
Yeah, and then we can get a look at them too and see if it's somebody that we want to come in and bring on our cards and use on the shows that we're starting to put together for TV.
Buddy Green said, "LOL, that was the craziness in section 226." And he said he's not throwing his Tampico. I was going to ask, did Buddy Green throw anything?
No, he did not, man. Buddy's a really mellow guy, man. He didn't. I don't think Buddy would get mad if he got bit by a rabid dog. But he's a super nice guy, man. Yeah, that was that Tampico. I used to go out. Me and Buddy Green, we'd go out and hit a couple of different restaurants in town, and we had a Mexican restaurant that's got the Tampico shrimp. And man, it's the best damn Mexican restaurant. It's grilled shrimp. It's like a shrimp fajita, but they give you this sauce, this Tampico sauce, and that shit. It would make a shoe taste good, man. I'm telling you, it's sweet spicy. And I can't describe it as other than sweet spicy. It's got some zip to it, but it's got a sweeter taste to it. And man, those Tampico, and he had another place we used to go to that it's funny. Some of the places that we'd go to, I used to watch the news, and they had these different cooking segments, where different restaurants to hit in Atlanta. And there was 2 different restaurants we hit that I ended up seeing that I said, oh shit, I saw this on the news. He took me to another place that was a Chinese place it wasn't Chinese. It's had a wide variety, but they had a scallop dish there and curry. It was, oh my God, they had these you'd get like 8 giant seared scallops. It'd be in a big circle, right? And they had a little mound of yellow rice with peas, and drizzled all across the plate was this spicy curry sauce that all over the rice. And oh my God. Nuevo Laredo in Atlanta, man, that is the best Mexican food.
Is that it?
That's it, man. You want to go if you go, I'm telling you, I mean, they got everything is good. They got the chicken mole and they got everything. But every time I went, man, I couldn't get past the Tampico shrimp, man. It is unbelievable.
He said Tamarind Thai, which is unfortunately closed now. Was the
Yeah, Tamarind Seed. Yeah, they closed up. It was Thai food.
Man.
And man, it was off the chain. But yeah, they closed. And I don't know why. It wasn't because of bad business. I think they just changed locations and changed names or something because they had to do a lot of construction in that area at the time, and it hurt a lot of businesses. You know, when downtown, if certain streets are closed off for a certain period of time, that screws up a lot of your business. You know, so that might have been the deal.
Let's see what we got. Adam Krasnov said, Nick, what's your thoughts on backyard deathmatch wrestling, like the ones with the light tubes and such? You advise your students not to get involved in those mud shows, as Jim Cornette calls them.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan. You know, it's not a lot of storytelling to it. I think if you're going to get to the stage where you're killing each other with light bulbs and shit, there's better be a story to it. You know, I mean, there's got to be a reason why you're doing it other than being a dumbass. To me, you know, you got to be so pissed off at this person that you're willing to go through the gauntlet of hell to kill them. You know, and then same with them. But, you know, to have a whole card of people just doing crazy, ridiculous shit, you know, because for the sake of doing crazy, ridiculous shit, then no, I wouldn't, not a fan of it. And I mean, and there's some people that like it, but all you got to do is take a look at the crowd. The biggest crowd I've ever seen at any of these on, you know, that are posted up, or, you know, if they're lucky, they might have a couple hundred people, you know. You know, how much money can you be making? And I know then they talk about, well, it's about the pride. Well, if it's about pride, then learn how to do it right. You know, learn wrestling. You know, or call it something different. You know, because it's they're only using a ring for a prop. You know,
they're coloring outside the lines, but you're using the same coloring book, just coloring outside the lines. Yeah. You know. There's always going to be a crowd for it, and it's just, you know, it's one of those things. It's a thing now. Whatever you think on it, but there's definite hate and there's definite some love, but there's a lot of hate out there for the death matches.
I don't hate it. It's not something that does anything for me. I've spent my entire life in the professional end of it. You know, being second generation. You know, ever since I was a little boy, listening to psychology and stuff, you know, when I was, you know, just eavesdropping on my dad, talking to his friends, and that to me is learning the art of storytelling, learning how to do it without killing each other and looking like you are killing each other. To me, that's the art. You know, I'm not going out there and sticking light bulbs up each other's ass, for God's sakes, man. Come on, you know.
Light bulb. That sounds like a Russo bit. Light bulb. Let's see what we got here.
A light bulb up the ass match. Jeez, I just come up with the newest death match craze. The light bulb up the ass.
You heard it here first. He's an innovator, even though he's not a fan of him. He'll still. I'm not a fan of it, but I've
come up with some great ideas for you guys,
man. Dave C said, Nick, I hated you so bad back in the day. That just means you did a hell of a job as a heel. I felt the same way about Jim in the Midnight.
All right, man. Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's good hate company if you're in the same company as them.
Yeah, man. Because people genuinely hate Jimmy, but they genuinely hated me too. So, I thank you, though. Thank you very much, man. What a crazy industry when you thank somebody for hating your guts.
Yeah, exactly.
And sincerely thank them for it.
Like, man, I hated you.
Yeah. Thank you.
40 ounces here, another Deep South guy. He just missed narcissism. He said finally escaped and snuck off, and the dang car was tripping. Hey, boss, if you see Claxton, tell him he owes me some dipping sauce. Cassio, how do you stay up for all the things you dabble in? Well, naps, my friend. Yeah, I do a local radio show from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then podcast in the afternoon and comedy at night. It's like wrestling, man. You just keep evolving. Don't rest on your laurels. You get in what you put out. So
they all tie together for you, well, too.
That's it.
They all tie together in a nice little bow.
Just talking. I told my dad, look at these hands. They're not built for manual labor. None of me. Nick, let's see what else we got. We got Roberto Sanchez said, "Who was the hottest Nitro girl?"
Man, I can't remember all their names. They had some good looking ladies. Hell, most of them ended up getting married to some of the guys.
Yep.
Charmel married Booker T, and Shawn Michaels married one of them, I didn't really think of them in that terms. I mean, they were good looking girls, but it's hard to say.
You're too busy. They were doing their thing part of the show, and you're doing yours.
Yeah, and they were all friendly. As far as me sitting around gandering and trying to figure out who's the hottest, I don't know. They all look good, man. Every one of them looked good to me.
Let's see what else we got. You can hit us up in that live chat and make sure we get out of here before we leave. You can hit us up in the super chat. That'll support the show. 40 ounce said your death show gimmick should be shards and sharts. Yeah, light tubes up the ass. So there you go.
Roberto Fester finish.
Roberto said, were you ever in Atlanta during Freaknik, the huge parties back in the day? Those were some throwdowns I always wanted to ride over. We grew up about 2 hours from Atlanta. Always thought I wanted to go over there to one of those Freaknik parties. Were you ever there? Did you ever get caught up in that?
No, I never did. I hadn't really done a whole lot of festival stuff, and I traveled so much back in the day when I was home. I spent my time at home. I didn't really go hang out in big crowds. And we've done Deep South has done some shows and some different festivals, and I've gone in there for those shows. But I've never have been a real big festival guy, and I never did go down and check Freaknik out. And I think that they had some matches somewhere close to it at one point in time, because I think a guy had to haul a ring down and do something, and he was bitching about how the traffic was all screwed up and he couldn't blah. But that's really all I heard about it, But as far as going down checking it out or being a part of it, nah, I hadn't been a part of it, of any honestly, other than that Halloween thing that we did down in Little 5 Points. That was, and other than that, I hadn't done a lot of festivals.
Let's see. Yeah, it was like a spring break absolute party.
Yeah,
just absolute chaos. 250,000 people in the street. They shut down the street.
Oh yeah. Oh, I knew about it. I knew. See, I'm not a big crowd guy, man. If I can get in and get out and do my thing, if I'm performing or being a part of it, then I'm all about it, But other than that, man, just to go and be in the middle of 250,000 people, man, that's not a comfort zone for me.
Did you ever have a Freaknik era yourself? See what I'm saying? You should be Freaknik.
Hell, everywhere I went was Freaknik.
Everywhere I went. Let's see. We got time for one more at least. So many to get to. Adam Krasnoff said, was Bill Watts the Grim Reaper when it came to pay? Foley said he came into WCW and slashed a lot of salaries.
Yeah, he did. But that was a different era for Watts. He come in and that was the big wrestling company deal, and he did that. But what he did was he made a deal with them where he got a percent of how much money he saved them. So he went in and started slashing, just like Johnny Ace did for Vince, the same shit, but he wasn't like that so much in the territory days. Because when he ran, when he owned Mid-South, and I wrestled there for 6 months, and that was really where I learned a lot about in-ring, because I was wrestling at the time. And I got to wrestle, like Ted DiBiase and Dick Slater, and Jake the Snake, different guys. Man, they're huge names, and learn. And you made money there. You traveled your ass off and didn't have time to spend it, and you was dead bone tired, and you never got a day off. I was there for 6 months and I had 2 days off.
Wow.
Yeah, it's but you learned, and he ran 5 states, and it wasn't talent friendly where you was going looping, boop, 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 boop. He was crisscrossing, zab, bam, bam, back and forth, man. And the top guys, they could buy a plane ticket if they wanted to, but when you wasn't one of them top guys, you were piled up 4 or 5 in a car and rolling, you know, to them little back roads in Louisiana, which was cool in itself too, man. I had a great time working out. It was an awesome experience, and I can't knock that era of Bill Watts. But when he came to WCW, yeah, he was straight heel, and everybody hated him but that was his deal. You know, that was his deal, to try and screw everybody over and get him so he could make money for himself.
Was he renegotiating with people, or when their contract was up, he was just telling them, hey, we're going to have a lower number? Or was
well,
he
I don't know how he knew. I wasn't part of that negotiation. I was on the low end of the scale anyway as a referee. You know, they were just like.
He didn't ever mess with you about it?
Nah, he smarted off at me one time, and I got really mad about something. I can't even remember what it was about, man. I was like, God, because I didn't like him, you know, and I don't remember what the hell even it was, you know. So, but nobody liked him. It was funny when he came in. Ricky Steamboat come into the locker room, and Watts come up to him and started telling him all this shit that he should do and shouldn't do and blah blah blah, and without announcing that who he was or what his new position in the company was, right? And Ricky looked at him and says, by what authority are you telling me this? He goes, by the guy that's blurted out his new position. And Ricky was like, well, by all means then.
By all means then.
Yeah, but and all in all, he was a dick, basically.
Oh, we got a super chat. Thank you for that. Pyrus Wrestling said, Nick, with ESPN and WWE working together, would you do a Up 2009 movie with you as the old man and Cassio as the kid from Up? Boy, I'll take some of that ESPN Disney money, won't you?
No, hell yeah. All day long. We got the perfect podcast to plug it on too, man.
Yeah, we do every single week here. Yeah, we got John Redondo said we could do Up or Cruella de Vil. I guess you're a heel and you got the black and white colors. That's what I think that is.
Yeah.
I think Up's the way to go if we're going to do it.
Yeah, I kind of like Cruella, but that's my weird thing.
Yeah, you be Cruella the heel, Nick the heel.
Yeah, that's Nick not hard for me. I'll just be myself.
Yeah, well, we will gladly. We look in the camera. We will gladly.
You're damn right.
The Disney, ESPN, WWE for sure. Thanks everybody.
I smell an Oscar in our future, man.
Yes. Yeah, I'll take it. We thank y'all for joining us today. I want to thank Nagicism again for joining us today. We will have more guests as we continue. Hope y'all liked it. Would you like to see more guests? Let us know in the chat down below. If you're watching this after the live version and you want to get a question in for next week, go ahead and drop that in the chat below. We'll try to get to as many of those as we can next week as well. We always appreciate it. Powers, thank you for hitting us with that super chat before we got out of here. That is a great way to get your question answered and support the show. So we greatly, greatly appreciate that. Nick, again, thanks for getting the Deep South people together and getting them on. Of course, like we said, you can see Nagicism and the rest at Monday Night Garage, which is on, but that's the venue. The day is Sunday afternoon knockout this Sunday, August 10th. 2 p.m. and it is free to the public. Thanks to the venue and all your proud sponsors there, and thanks to everybody at Deep South. Gonna be a fun one, Nick.
Yeah, it was a blast last time. It was packed, and that's the one that all the kids came and gave that one kid that works for us at Luke and Daniel such a hard time. That was at Monday night Garage, and I look forward to going back. It's when I was sitting there and I watched that show. And I told my production guy, Marty, at the end, I said, sometimes you sit back and you watch a show and you feel it. And then, this show was a good show. But that show we had at the last Monday Night Garage, it could have been our pilot show. It was that cool. It was that good. And it's the energy that the people bring. It's easy when you've got a crowd that's there and you're feeding off their energy. These kids are jacked up anyway. But when you got a crowd that's there that's jacked up and having fun, and is loud and with everything you're doing, then it's a good time, man. Great venue, great crowd. Hey, thanks, C-Dub, for coming in and talking with us, too. You get to meet C-Dub if you come down and check it out, man. Let's check out and see if he's got the chicken stick, man.
Well, Nick, thank you, man. Appreciate you joining us as always. I know you got a lot going on with family, with running a business, running a company. So we always appreciate that, man. And the hour has flown by. Yeah, we say it every single week, but it is funny. I look up, our hour is done. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, that was cool. I want to thank Najicism again for showing up. And
yes,
I hope you guys like that, because I've got some really, really cool characters that you'll want to meet. You know, I'd like for you to meet all the champions that I have at Deep South right now. Our tag team champions, our new realm champ, our ladies champ. I'm sure you'd all love to meet the 6-foot blonde bombshell, Gemma Jewel. She's Gemma Jules is she's really coming into her own right now, and she represents the brand very well. And I'm proud of the kid. I'm proud of all the kids that come and work for me, because they're bringing it to
that's
a whole
her on
new
the
level.
flyer, right?
Yeah, that's her on the flyer, the blonde-headed girl on the flyer, and that is Audrey Allen that's working with her, in the other lady, and that lockup looks snug. It is.
They're going after it.
Yeah, these two girls, they have good matches, good solid. Yeah, it's a fun match to watch.
Well, follow Deep South on all of their YouTube. You can go to wearedeepsouth.com and see all their events there. They're on Facebook at DSWGA and Instagram at Deep South Wrestling. You can follow myself all across the board at the Casio Kid. And of course, you can follow Najicism, the Najicism, if you're on Instagram, or all of his other ones. If you follow him and you found him, please do us a favor and let him know that you found him thanks to the Nick Patrick Mailbag podcast. Go tell him, hey, tell him you're a new fan. Tell him you saw him on the pod, and show him some love for coming on with us today. Thanks, everybody, again, for hitting us up in the chat. And, Nick, we will see you back here again next week, my friend.
Yes, sir. I'll be here, man.
Deep South Wrestling in the house. Nick Patrick's Mailbag with myself, Casio, and the world's most hated ref, Nick Patrick.
Yeah.
There we go.
Shit.